So it just hit 4:30. I guess we can go ahead and start. All right, so I'm here with Ricky, CEO of JETR, Star Jets International. How are you doing today?
All good. Wild day in the stock today.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to elaborate on that for anybody who's not familiar?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of chatter going on the in the chat rooms, and there's a lot of negative chatter and a lot of positive chatter. And a couple of guys have turned rather negative for unknown reasons. And I don't know. Seems like there was a big block of stock for sale today, and the stock got pounded all day. Went down to 10 cents and rebounded at almost 20 cents today on about 360,000 shares.
Oof. Yeah, that's definitely pretty rough, but yeah, at least it rebounded back up, huh?
Had a nice rebound.
All right. Yeah, and have you been up to anything lately? I know you were telling me you were at another investor conference
Well,
or.
we had a call yesterday with the Investor Center Group. It was a very upbeat, successful call, in my opinion. We had one investor who was asking a lot of poignant, difficult questions, which I was happy to answer all of his questions, and I did very openly and honestly. And I think it went very well. I think the group overall was very satisfied with what I had to say, and I'm looking forward to our chat today.
All right. Well, yeah, let's just get into it then. Uh, First question: can you detail what accounts for the large discrepancy between the OS and AS?
What's the OS and the AS? The outstanding shares and the what's the AS?
The AS, the that should be the what? Actual shares?
Well, there's 27 million shares in the float.
Yes.
The actual trading shares are probably about half of that. The other half is locked up by insiders. I had mentioned yesterday that I have about 700,000 preferred shares,
Okay.
which are convertible into common stock. However, those shares cannot be converted for another year, and they are restricted shares.
Okay.
So those won't convert for another year. And I'm an insider, and the reality is that I can only sell, if I wanted to sell, 1% of the average monthly volume, which is almost nothing. So I'm in for the long term. I mentioned yesterday, I'm interested in making money on the back end, and one day I'm going to have my payday. That's really what I'm working towards.
Understandable. Yeah, I had a brain fart. It's authorized shares, but you essentially answered the question there. um, okay, yeah. So the next one is a little bit of a statement before the question. So private jet travel is now seen to cater to the elite. Many popular investments right now involve companies that are tackling or directly involved with issues in sectors that the common man can easily sympathize with and understand, such as green energy, technology, pharmaceutical breakthroughs. So, what's the investment thesis for someone who is not part of the 1% to consider investing in a company that can be seen to only benefit or interest the top 1%?
Well, I'm looking to disrupt the industry. I'm looking to have, become the Travelocity, Priceline, Expedia of private jets, which really doesn't exist. I'm not looking to sell individual seats. I'm looking to sell the entire aircraft for whatever the person's needs are or the company's needs. We're looking to be a worldwide company, access to 15,000 aircraft with 4 hours notice, And we're looking to become a digital platform like an Uber for private jets, with on-demand booking capabilities all over the world. So the reality is that with the money that we're going to raise, there'll be a tremendous marketing effort on TV, on social media, to attract people to book directly with us.
Okay. So you're trying to just cater towards the common people slightly more and loop them in. So
You're not really, you're
private
not
jet.
really, you're not catering to the common people in the private jet market. The private
Yeah,
jet
just
is
make it a
very
little bit more
expensive.
achievable though, like
It's
somebody who's
25. The average price of a trip is 25 to 30,000 now,
okay.
and the prices with fuel right now are going up. If fuel goes down, the prices will go down.
Sure. All right. No, but that makes sense. Just get it out in front of as many people as possible. Um, okay. All right, yeah, so this one has kind of a long statement before it as well. So it's been brought to the attention of many investors that you have a checkered past with the SEC. Now, I'm not here to make judgment on people. I don't know personally, but I think it's a fair question to ask. Should any of us investors be concerned with the past to be a conflict of interest with you being in charge of the company?
Well, it's a decent statement and a decent question, and I'm happy to answer it. I was cleared prior to going into the public market. I was cleared by OTC, even given my past, to run a public company. So we went through the proper channels prior to doing this, and I got the thumbs up to do it. You say I have a checkered past. I understand how it reads. The reality is that I had three minor infractions. I ran a stock brokerage firm for 10 years. The market tanked in 2000 and 2001. I sold off my accounts and I threw in my towel. And the SEC, or I should say FINRA, came after me for a minor things. And I just said, you can have my license. I don't care anymore. I'm never going to be a stockbroker anymore.
Okay.
Uh, and I gave up my license and I started a private jet company the very next day.
All right. Yeah, I mean, so they have checks and balances in place. You wouldn't be here if you weren't, able to be here.
Well, I was cleared. I
Yeah.
was cleared.
Okay, so another question from the same user. With private aviation seemingly booming at the moment, do you have a great consolidation where a lot of companies are going to be bought out or merging together from larger entities, almost a survival of the fittest type outcome?
There's a tremendous amount of consolidation right now in the industry, which is great because it opens up the doors for me to consolidate and make acquisitions as well. And cash will be king. And as soon as we close on the deal, I will have tons of cash.
Yes, yes. All right, simple question. How many employees are part of the company, and will you expand the number of employees as things progress?
Yes, I don't have that many now. We have about 10. And the company that we're looking to acquire has about uh, 120, 70 of which are pilots. And we would look to probably hire another 30 to 50 for infrastructure to, to take inquiries and a lot of back office people. And we will be merging and buying more brokers all over the country. I'd be interested in Florida, California, Northeast, probably London, Middle East. So I would expect that the employee count would probably go up to about 200, 300.
Okay. All right, and they are going to be spread around. It's not a central office then.
They'll be spread around all over the place. We need to run a 24/7 operation.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, so you mentioned there were some companies that you wanted to acquire, and you had said that they had 15 aircrafts. Are they all the same aircraft, or are they various models?
They're all heavy jets, the Falcon 2000, 15 G4s and G5s and G550s. And we're looking to acquire another five uh, G5 and G550s within the next 12 months. So we'll be up to 20 aircraft.
Okay, wow, that's impressive. Okay. Now, on the last Q&A we did, you mentioned fourth quarter bookings were looking strong. Are they still continuing on that current path, or are they looking better going into the month of December?
I would say that they're on par for what I'm expecting right now. I could say that for the first 2 months until up to now, we have bookings of almost 2.5 million go for the quarter already, with a full month left.
Okay. All right. Well, that's certainly impressive. Um, yeah, so I like this next question. So I know you may not.
I mentioned we do, uh, approximately 3 million for the quarter. So I still stick to that. We'll probably be more than that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, excellent. So yeah, I like this next question, but you may not be able to give a definitive answer. But hypothetically speaking, if you were talking to all the people who hold your stock and viewed it as a long-term hold, what kind of time frame would you tell them that they should be holding to? I guess what I'm asking is, do you see the company's ceiling as being reached in a year, 2 years, five, 10?
Well, my goal is to build a company very, very quickly. I'm hopeful that within the next 12 months, that we will have closed on three acquisitions, which will put us anywhere between 150 to 200 million in revenue for the year. I believe that after that, we'll make even more acquisitions, and it's going to be very, very aggressive. It's a 3 year play, in my opinion, getting up to 300 to 500 million in revenue, and then we can just sell out to one of the big guys.
Okay. Yeah, so that's really aggressive. So, I mean, that's kind of the way you have to play it, especially in the type of industry you're in.
Well, the market's hot right now. You have to take advantage of the opportunity to raise money, and you also have to take care. The private jet industry is $20 billion a year. It's forecasted in the next 5 years to go to 100 billion. So it's going to grow fivefold in the next 5 years. We're in a perfect position to take advantage of that. And with our digital platform, I'm looking to do at least 10 million a month just in digital sales
Wow.
without any acquisitions. Of course, that's going to take time to ramp up,
Sure.
but that's what we expect to do.
Okay. Yeah, wow. Wow. Okay, yeah, so I know you kind of already touched on this, but in this type of industry for private aviation, what catalysts or opportunities are needed to expand the market reach into other demographics outside of high value individuals? Or do you think this type of industry is solely for that sector?
This is a high net worth business.
Yeah.
The clients who are flying corporate are also flying leisure with their families. It's not the JetBlue customer. It's
Yeah.
just a different.
Yeah.
It's a different league. So I mean, it is what it is. I'm not. I don't want to sell seats. I don't want to dilute my brand. I want to sell trips to Mykonos for 250,000. Round trip with 10 people on it. I don't care who pays. Doesn't matter to me. I take Bitcoin. This is great. I take Bitcoin. I take Ethereum, and there's been a lot of crypto transactions lately. with the levels of crypto right now, and the marketplace is great.
Yeah, that was kind of my next part of the question. Would you ever plan on, um, I don't know, group bookings of some kind to bring the price down? But you're firm with keeping it
I
private.
won't. I won't do it.
Yeah.
I refuse to do it. I'm not an airline, and I don't want to cheapen my brand.
Sure.
It, it doesn't make sense. I've seen a million companies go out of business trying to sell seats.
Yeah. Yeah. So if somebody wants to do something like that, then they would have to. It would all be on them. Like, you got nothing against, one person booking and getting, a tenth of the share from nine other people.
If they want to split it amongst themselves, that's up
Yeah.
to them. I get that all the time.
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean that makes sense. I would do it the same way. Um.
Yeah, I mean, I just did a trip to Vail for three families, and they all split the jet,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's fine with me.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. So another question, kind of related to that. What do you do to actually sell people on private aviation? Like, what can you do to lure people away from the commercial flights?
I don't try to lure people from commercial flights. I try to take them from other private jet companies, NetJets, FlexJets, the bigger companies. I'm usually about 40 to 50% less without the long term commitment.
Okay.
But trying to convert a guy from commercial to private jets is not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that's kind of understandable.
Unless the guy's buying 10 first class tickets to Paris and he's paying 10,000 a pop, then you put him on a private jet.
Um. Okay, so we got another question, not directly related to JETR, but what do you think about Wheels Up and their struggles since their IPO? Their stock has been taking an absolute mauling since their list on the New York Stock Exchange.
Well, I think they got ahead of themselves and they took on a lot of expenses and a lot of debt. They merged with a lot of companies, and I think they're having a hard time putting it all together. Uh, that's my opinion of everything. And then massive losses that they showed, and that's why the stock's getting pounded.
Sure. So going back to the other question, because he just kind of let up or message back on this. So he meant first class passengers who have the means to fly private but don't. You don't have anything specific to like target to them, or you're just going after the people who already want these flights?
Well, listen, I my goal is to advertise on television and on social media, uh, Google, all over the place, MSN, like an animal. And I want to be, whether you like him or you don't like him, the My Pillow guy. Everybody knows him because he advertises like an animal. And I want to be, that guy of private jets in terms of my advertising campaign. I'm familiar with it. I've done it before, and I know how it works. And I'm going to be very, very aggressive with it.
You're definitely not wrong. Everybody's seen the flex tape commercial. I've never used it in my life, but there's definitely a roll of it in my garage.
Correct.
Okay. Um, yeah, so you kind of touched on this earlier, but do you have any additional comments on the sudden, unexpected bombardment of bearish statements on many of these platforms regarding Jetter?
Well, there was two guys who were instrumental in the beginning in getting involved, and for some unknown reason, they turned sour on me without having any conversations at all. And it seems, absurd to me, but it is what it is. And they're in the chat rooms and they bring the negative chatter, and everybody knows who they are. And they brought everybody. The ironic part is they brought everybody into the group because they love the idea and they love the situation. And the situation has only gotten better and better and better. Uh, I did raise money early on. I'm a pink sheet company. It's very difficult to raise money as a pink sheet company.
Yes.
And I raised money, and there are shares out there that were for sale. Those shares are now in the market. They've been sold. I'm not issuing any more shares as we speak going into the deal. And I'm looking forward to uplisting on NASDAQ. I'm looking forward to be a public company on NASDAQ. And I expect that within the next 12 months, this company is going to look a hell of a lot different. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for people who are involved down low.
All right, well, that's the perfect transition to the next question. So there seems to be some doubt about the plans to bypass the OTCQB in favor of the NASDAQ. It says many feel the company will not meet requirements for the NASDAQ. What do you have to say to these people's concerns?
Well, I understand because I did say that I was going to go QB. So when I spoke to QB, OTCQB, what used to be a 4-week process is now a 10-week plus process. So going into the holidays, the 10-week plus process seems like a 3 to 4 month ordeal. And I believe that I'm going to be on NASDAQ at the end of January, beginning of February. So to go spend the money to go onto OTC is futile because it's a waste of money, and I'll probably be on NASDAQ before I'm even on QB.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Why go through the struggle of it and the hassle when you're just gonna go NASDAQ anyway?
If it was 4 weeks, I would have done it, but it's not. So it's pointless to do it.
Totally understand. So what's the plan to bring more shareholders on board and increase volume?
Well, we're going to continue to bring investor relation firms on board. We're going to continue to advertise, get the word out, and I think when we go Nasdaq and we raise the money and we start making acquisitions, and there's a lot of news to report, people are going to start taking notice of this company because it's going to be fast and it's going to be furious.
All right. Now I know you've mentioned the social media and the marketing quite a few times, but specifically, how are you going about your media presence for Twitter, Instagram, influencers, or any specific influencers or anything that you want to mention about the marketing in general?
Yeah, right now I don't like to use influencers. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. The influencers want a lot of money or a lot of stock, and it never really does anything to move the needle. And I've had them all, and I've dealt with them all from Kardashians all the way down.
Wow.
But I've been doing this a very, very long time. I've been doing it over 20 years. I know what works. I know what doesn't work, and I expect that we can do a lot of things here right and calculating. We want investors to buy into the stock. We want people to fly with us. So we're very, very cognizant of what we need to do, and we're going to be very, very aggressive.
Excellent. Yeah, that was actually the last question there. So, do you have anything else you wanted to share? Any exciting news upcoming? Just anything.
I mean, listen, I appreciate everybody that's involved in the stock. I think, it's been a wild ride so far. It's going to get much, much better. I have a lot of irons in the fire. There's a lot of negative chatter. People posting, well, he said he's going to raise money in the past, and, how come he didn't do it? Well, my intentions are always good, and plans don't usually happen the way you plan all the time. So the deal that I thought I had fell through. I had two deals fall through. So I had two $10 million deals fall through. But the good news is that this deal is on track. I have my lawyers. The banking firm has their lawyers. Everybody's communicating. The S1 to file for NASDAQ is being drafted as we speak. The audit is now done. The 19 and 20 audit is done. The third quarter for 2021 is being reviewed because we need to submit a review as well with the S1 to apply to NASDAQ. So that's being done. And that should be done by the end of this week or the beginning of next week. I think it'll be done this week. And like I said, the S1's being drafted. It's not an overnight thing, but the ball is moving. Everything is moving forward. And I feel very, very confident about everything. The market is fantastic. Business is great. And I expect to be, in a year from now when we have this chat, I expect to be 100 to $200 million per year company.
All right. Yeah, excellent. I mean, that's awesome. With the investments, when people are asking about that, it's always one of those things where if you share that you're looking for an investment, then people just harass you to get it. And then when you don't, they're all disappointed. And if you don't share anything, then, you got nothing to PR. So it's a give and take, but it sounds like this one that you got is going to be fruitful. So,
It's a good market, and uh, you have to strike while the iron's hot. So that's what we're aiming to do.
absolutely.
Is there another question? I just saw something pop up.
No, not a question specifically, but he just said it was I think it may be a good opportunity to market on LinkedIn. Many companies may begin to travel business who could use a platform like this.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. I like LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is a great B2B product.
yeah, yeah, and he's definitely not wrong. If you got a whole get a whole 10 people out of an office building, they probably have the money for a private jet. So, all right, well, yeah, I think that's it. I think we can call it there.
Yeah. Again, a lot of you know how to get in contact with me. If you have any questions, you want to know anything, feel free to reach out. I work 24/7. In all honesty, and that's it. I'm here for everybody.
All right, excellent.
Okay. Have a good night. Thanks.
All right, have a good one.